Hello, and welcome back to The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America, where each episode we bring you a fresh and insightful interview with one of the film industry's top directors, conducted by one of their peers. Remember to subscribe to our podcast on Google Play Music, iTunes, Stitcher, or on our SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/The Director's Cut. And if you're enjoying The Director's Cut, please take a moment to like, share, or comment. We love hearing your feedback. This episode takes us behind the scenes of director Martin McDonagh's new film, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. The film stars Frances McDormand as Mildred Hayes, a woman frustrated by the fact that months after her daughter's violent murder, no progress has been made in the case. Infuriated by the lackluster efforts of the local police, she employs the unusual motivational technique of commissioning 3 billboards leading into her town with messages aimed at Ebbing's revered chief of police, setting off a battle of wills with the police force and the rest of the community. In addition to 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Mr. McDonagh's credits include the feature films 7 Psychopaths and In Bruges. In 2006, he won the Academy Award for Best Short Film Live Action for his film 6 Shooter. Following a recent screening of the film at the DGA Theater in Los Angeles, Mr. McDonagh spoke with director Niki Caro about filming 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. During their conversation, Mr. McDonagh discusses how the film was inspired by a billboard he saw while riding in a bus in the South, his approach to balancing humor with pain, and the ways in which he tries to work against the expected.
Okay, so Martin, the front of this movie, the setup to this movie is so killer. Perfect, I think, marriage of word, literally, and image. And I'm really interested in how you came to that.
To the billboard wording specifically?
No, well, yes, that specifically, but generally, the opening of this movie, the premise for this movie.
Strangely, I saw something very similar to what we see on the billboards about 17 years ago. I was on a sort of bus going across country, one of the southern states, I think. I'm not sure quite where it was, but it's like the Georgia, Florida, Alabama corner, and it just, I was on, like, literally just driving by this field, and there were 2 billboards in a field, and the first one kind of said pretty much what all 3 say, and I couldn't read what was on the second because it was all writing, and we went so fast, but it stuck in my mind, the idea of who would have put something like that up, what kind of rage and pain and bravery, because it was calling out the cops, just as ours does. But it stuck in my mind for like 10 years, and I didn't do anything about it. But once I sort of decided it was a woman and a mother that put those up, Mildred kind of popped out fully formed, and I just started following her around town, really seeing what she got up to next. But I knew it was, the town and the police would have to have a reaction. But I didn't plot anything out. And as organically as I think the story grows, that's how the script was written.
And did you write Mildred specifically with Frances McDormand in mind?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and if she said no, we'd have been screwed, because I don't know where we gone to. We had no second choice, really, because she's got so much, as you know yourself, she's got so much integrity and laser-like. Just her, she's kind of similar to Mildred as an actual, like, determined and forthright, and
yes.
but great, but she's also, I knew she wouldn't be patronizing or sentimental about a working class mother. In fact, one of the main discussions we had was not to make Mildred lovable, or not to let the audience in any more than what was on the page, really.
And I was interested. I was surprised, actually, knowing her as well as I do, as an actor, that there was so much that seemed to be consciously working against her unlovability. And, you know, there were moments where she was soft. There were moments where she was emotional, where she was crying even. How organically did those things come up or not?
Crying, I wanted to cry a little bit more, but
I applaud you that she
it didn't really work. But that were like, I think a couple of the major arguments we had was about that, and she said I'm not sure if she ever quite breaks down, like she's on the edge of it in the deer scene and the phone call at the end. But I'm not sure if she ever got to the stage of tears, and Frances was kind of determined that we've seen enough crying in movies, and she didn't want to go there. And I think she was right, and it works, you know, the way she did it completely. But those two scenes were the two places that I knew that between the two of us we had to really take care of them, because they were the only pockets in the film where that you could be let in, that the love was kind of clear to us, or the pain, or the pain's there throughout, but how it's really affecting her deep down those are the only two spots where we see it, I think. So it was, but again, it was about not sentimentalizing those scenes and not making them, you know, too lovable.
Yeah, for sure. Tonally, holding all of that grief and pain in a mother's story, and yet having so much humor as well. Do you find that a hard balance?
Strangely, not so much. I guess because most of the stuff, like from the plays I've done in the past and both movies I've done, have that blend. It is the way I naturally write, I guess, and the way I naturally see the world. But there was in the edit, there was a bit more. There were a few more scenes with Sam being kind of crazy and you know, racist, or there was a great scene where he gets into bed with his mum and he's drunk, and it was I thought it was really fun, but not in a creepy way, but just like one of those things you do when you're drunk. And there were 2 or 3 scenes that were really, like, he did them brilliantly, and they were like a barrel of laughs, but they just shifted the tone of the film a little bit too much towards the comic. When we were showed the first sort of very rough edit after a couple of months in the edit room to some friends, the wife of the DP, Cami, said it's lovely, but don't be scared of it being a tragedy. Don't fight it, because at that stage all those Sam scenes were in, and the balance was almost more towards the comedy. But she said once she said that, once I heard it, you know, believe in the tragedy of it, it just freed something, and it's probably equally as funny without those funniest scenes. But we never lost sight of this tragedy that starts the film.
Mm-hmm. And in the edit room, how much does the script change for you?
It's at that stage, for me, it's more about happily culling things, things that you never thought you could lose can just be thrown out in seconds. Things that I'd have fought to the death if the financiers were trying to cut at the script stage, they could just be thrown away. So in that sense, it's kind of boiling something down to its essence a bit. But and I'm not as precious about the lines at that stage, even, or the jokes, or, you know, it really does become its own creature, as you know.
Is that the same with theatre?
No, I'm much more of about the script in a play. Because Yeah, why? I don't know. I don't know. I've always, you spend so much time working on the script in a play, but then you do in a film too. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
Okay. When you went from theatre to film, I'm really intrigued to know what your first day on a film set was like.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that would have been the short film, I guess.
Yeah.
Terror.
Yeah.
Just abject terror. Not really, no. But throughout that whole shoot, I think it was not knowing what to do. And, it was just... but once I was working with the actors, that terror lifted. It was just all of the other aspects of the shoot was scary. And I think that probably continued into Bruges too. I was kind of, even in prep, I was kind of felt out of my depth or something. But whenever I was working with the actors, it felt really natural. And that was probably because of the 10 years I'd had in rehearsal rooms with the plays. So I think this film was the first time I felt really at ease with every aspect of the process and enjoyed every aspect for the first time.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
It's such an incredible cast. Do you have a rehearsal process for film that is comparable to theatre?
Yeah, for In Bruges, we had 3 weeks just in a room, me and Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, just talking the script over and just analysing it, and not to the death, but just my part of my rehearsal process is just to convey everything I thought of each character, why each line is there, and if the actor wants to use that or not use that, at least the information is out there, and we can agree or disagree about it. But for me, the rehearsals are just getting all the information out there. With this, I kind of wanted Frances to do more, but in retrospect, I realized, and she did some with John Hawkes and Lucas, her son, but she wouldn't do any with Woody or Sam, and it made sense after she said it, because she's at war with these people, and she didn't want to get comfortable with them, and I think that kind of shows in the film.
And so in this rehearsal process, you seem to be saying that you're quite comfortable with actors being pretty free with the dialogue. Or
Oh no. Oh God, no.
Okay.
No, just whatever the exact opposite of that is. That would be me. No, well, because my thing is, I've usually written these scripts quite a few years before we've shot. This was written 8 years ago, 8 years before or 6 years before we shot it. And I've usually written it and kind of leave it for a year and then have a look at it and do some minor changes. But then it's kind of set in stone almost. And so I'm not really a big advocate of us all getting together on the morning of a shoot and seeing what the best version of a line is going to be. So there wasn't much of that. But the good thing is, and maybe that's why I keep using the same actors over and over again, they know what I'm like and they know what the deal is. That said, there's not, it doesn't mean it has to be a straitjacket, but that is what we work from, and that's what we've got to achieve. But I remember Sam saying, he still felt a lot of freedom on this and on the last one. Sam would sometimes improvise into the scene, improvise the minute before the scene would take place. And strangely, lots of those little pieces end up in the actual film after.
Oh, that's nice. Woody Harrelson.
Genius.
Yeah. And literally the most beloved and likable actor around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I was so shocked when he died.
Me too. That wasn't. That was an improv.
Very good. So is that quite a bold move to lose? To cast a guy like that, who everybody loves, your children love, your grandmother loves. Nobody doesn't love that guy. And then dispatch him. I know you have his voice and his presence in the last half of the film, but was there ever a moment where you thought,
No,
I get rid of him?
Yeah, this is gonna shock him.
Yeah, it did me.
But I think like it came up naturally at that point of the script writing. I didn't know I thought he was going to be there till the end.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of how organic it was. Like maybe just a scene before, I thought his character, that could be a choice that he might make, and that obviously shook up the whole rest of where the film could have gone to. Like when I look back on this, it almost doesn't have a structure. This film, like it has the first act maybe, but then because of that act, everything goes haywire, and it's more about the changes of character rather than any payoffs in a second or third act structure. But it was, I don't know. You're always trying to work against what's been done before or what's expected, and that was an easy way to do it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And as a writer who's now a film director, do you write differently?
I think because of the edit process, I'm a bit more. I can cull things a little bit quicker, and also sort of knowing about budgetary things now. I don't have trains in every shot, or
There you go.
or animals. I've gotten rid of a lot of animals. I've decided to go with tortoises now because they don't run around.
Yeah, they stay
right. Plonk them and you can just tape them to stuff. There you go. But I do like Tortoise improvs because all of his stuff was like his own unscripted. But that's the only person I let to get away with it. No, and yeah, what else have I learned? Yeah, it's more just streamlining, I think. And not going on for pages and pages with dialogue, like trying to keep that as tight as possible.
Yeah. And what about imagery? Do you think now in terms of images?
I still don't really do that. Like the script, the first stage is usually character and plot and all of that stuff. But with each film so far, I've once that's done, I storyboard the whole thing on my own with terrible potato head people. But that's kind of the first time, unless there's been specific shots that are written. But there aren't very many in my the first version of the script. But once I storyboard it, that usually helps both streamline the script and give it an entire sort of visual aspect.
Mm-hmm. So you're storyboarding alone. You're not storyboarding with a cinematographer?
No, but then the first process, once the film is going to happen, is to sit down with Ben on the last two and go through them, and then he'd come up with his stuff, or say you could do exactly what you're trying to do in one shot or two, and then we have so I have kind of like a skeleton template visually going into each day's shooting, and then obviously it can be up for grabs on the day. I'm much more open to that stuff, but at least I'm kind of confident that there is a path visually through each scene.
Right. How many days?
Shooting of this?
Yeah.
32, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you shoot?
In North Carolina. We were based in Asheville, which is a great town. If anyone hasn't been there, it's like great food, walkable, great tortoises. But we shot, the main street was in Silver, and the Billboard Road, which is an hour outside of Asheville, and the Billboard Road's about half an hour in the Black Mountains, the other side. Right.
So you were inspired by real billboards that were erected or determined by a real person. Are you curious about who that person is?
I am. Yeah.
Do you think they will come find you?
I think that could be an interesting outcome for this. Yeah. I mean, like when I first saw them, there was no Google, there was no any of that stuff, and it's not something you'd really want to Google these days. I think that those words, but I'd be interested to know if this could help, or what was the outcome of that story.
Yeah. Well, it's such a remarkable piece of work. Thank you for
Thanks,
making
Niki.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone.
Martin McDonagh.
Okay. Great.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. Don't forget, you can check out past episodes of The Director's Cut wherever you listen to podcasts. As we get deeper into award season, we'll continue to give you director-focused conversations about this year's most anticipated films. So be sure to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date on the great discussions we have coming up. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, share, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for listening, and have a great week. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America. Music is by Dan Wally.